Sorry, let's pick up where we left off with our rationals review. So I had just gotten to the fun part of this problem. I've factored everything out. I've changed it to a multiplication problem. Now I can look at things that I want to cancel. So look over here. I've got an x plus 1 on the top and x plus 1 on the bottom. Those are factors. I can cancel them out. Let's look over here. I've got an x minus 1 here. I've got an x minus 1 here. I can cancel those. This one up here, this x plus 2, I can put parentheses around that. It's just by itself in a numerator. Look, I've got an x plus 2 down here. I've got an x plus 2 up here. Those can cancel. I got to cancel so many things. And all I'm left with now is, I've canceled everything on top. All I'm left with is a 1. And all I'm left with on the bottom is an x minus 1. So we got that down to something that looked really nice from that big complex fraction. So the key is just write them side by side, keep, change, flip. And then once you've got everything factored, you can cancel things out as you know how to. So that one, we've got that. Okay, here's another multiplication. So this one, like I said again, our first step, we usually want to factor out every single thing that we can. So like this 7x minus 14, I can pull a 7 out of that. So I'm going to pull out a 7 and I get an x minus 2 is left on the inside. This denominator here, I've got a 6 and I have x plus 2 squared. So that tells me, I'm going to write it out this way just so you guys can see it visually. I've got an x plus 2 times another x plus 2. I've got 2 of these guys here on the bottom because it was squared. So pay attention to those squared symbols when you see them. Multiplied by, let's see, let's factor this one, 2x plus 4. I can pull a 2 out. That's my greatest common factor. I'm left with x plus 2. And down here I have 3x minus 6. I can pull out a 3 is my greatest common factor, and I'm left with x minus 2. So I've factored everything out. Now I'm left with just a regular multiplication problem. Let's look for things I can cancel. I have an x minus 2 and an x minus 2. I have an x plus 2 and an x plus 2. Let's see if we can reduce any of these numbers. Let's see. I've got a 2 and a 6. I can reduce those each by 2. So that's going to become a 1. That's going to become a 3. So I'm left with on the top 7 times 1. So my numerator is just going to be 7 up here. And in the denominator, let's see, my numbers, I've got a 3 times a 3. That's 9. And I also have one more x plus 2 left here on the bottom. So that's why it's important that we remembered that squared symbol over here, because that meant we had 2 of these and we're left with 1 over. So I'm left with 7 over 9 times x plus 2. You can distribute that out if you need to, or you can leave it like this. Depending on what your answer choices are, will determine what you need to do. So with that one, hopefully this multiplication stuff is getting easier. Okay, now we have a graphing problem. This is throwback all the way to the beginning of this type of unit. This is my rational function. So I've got y equals 1 over x minus 1 plus 4. So let's look, I've got my x minus 1, this fractions over here. This is my grouping symbol. So I've got an x minus 1 here. That's like my x minus h. So remember, our h moves our function side to side, and we're looking at our asymptotes first when we usually graph things. So this is going to move my vertical asymptote, and since it's in the grouping symbol or it's in that denominator, it's going to go the opposite direction of the sign. So minus 1 is going to move it to the right one. So I'm going to draw my vertical asymptote at x equals 1. I think that's right here. All right, so I've drawn my asymptote there. Next, let's look at this plus 4 out here. This is my plus k. And remember, our k moves our function up and down. It moves our horizontal asymptote up and down with it. So I'm going to have a horizontal asymptote. And this one, the sign stays the same direction, so I'm going to have it at plus 4. So I'm going to find it at y equals 4 is my horizontal asymptote. So those are the key things. We need to find our asymptotes from this equation, and we need to find where they move. They've moved to the right 1, and they've moved up 4. So now, I need to go back to here. Let's look at this 1 on the top. That's got a positive sign. It's not negative, so it's positive. That means that our graph is just the normal shape that we usually have it, so it's not flipped. So I'm just going to try to draw this guy in. With these, it's our asymptotes that are really the important parts, not so much the graph, as you can see. So let me clean that up a little bit, but that's what our graph in general is going to look like. So just don't forget what those H's, those K's, and our symbol up here, our sign, whether it's positive or negative, don't forget what that does. And our parent function that this came from, just remember, our simplest one that we could have is y equals 1 over x. That is our parent function. So if you need to look at Desmos, you can go in and look at 1 over x. You can plug in whatever it gives you, see how it moves, see where it moves over, over 1 up 4, if that's what you need to do. All right, last stuff we're looking at vertical and horizontal asymptotes. So we need to find those of this function here. Our vertical asymptotes, I told you guys, to find the vertical asymptote, we always set the denominator equal to 0 and solve. So in this case, my denominator, that's here, 4x squared minus 25. So I'm going to set 4x squared minus 25 equals 0. This is just kind of a funky version of my difference of squares. So look, here's how I'm going to separate this out. I've got 4x squared here. The square root of that is 2x. The square root of 25 is 5. So I'm going to do 2x plus 5, 2x minus 5 equals 0. So this is going to give me two solutions. I'm going to set each of these equal to 0. So I'm going to have 2x plus 5 equals 0. Subtract a 5. I get 2x equals minus 5. Divide that by 2. I get x equals negative 5 over 2. And then for the other one, I've got 2x minus 5 equals 0. So I'm going to add 5 now. I'm just solving for x. So I get 2x equals 5. Divide that by 2. And I get x equals positive 5 halves. So the vertical asymptotes for this, let me write it over here. Vertical asymptotes are x equals 5 halves, x equals negative 5 halves. So remember, set that denominator equal to 0 to find vertical asymptotes. That's where x is undefined, meaning that's where our function is divided by 0. So we set the bottom here equal to 0. Last thing we have to do is find that horizontal asymptote. Remember, when we find horizontal asymptotes, I'm looking at the exponents. So my highest power in the numerator is 2. My highest power in the denominator is also 2. So my exponents are the same. So my rule for when the exponents are the same is I divide the coefficients. So I'm going to look and see my coefficients here. There's a 1 out in front of this guy, this x, and I've got a 4 right here. Those are my coefficients. They're the numbers being multiplied by those x squareds. So my horizontal asymptote is y equals 1 divided by 4. So just go back, look at your rules for horizontal asymptotes. It always depends on your exponents, whether one is bigger, whether it's the top or the bottom, or whether they're the same. So make sure that you review those rules. And that should be pretty much all the types of problems that you're going to see. If you can do all of those, you're going to do amazing on your tests. I know you guys are going to do great. And that's it for this time. Thanks.